Hey, what's up? You made it! So glad you're here for part 2 of the linen tablecloth from my random fabric series. Part 1 was actually my first ever episode, and in it I made this top, which was so quick and simple. I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you're a beginner to sewing. Again, the tablecloth's colors and print really reminded me of summer, so I ran with that idea again for the design. Before making this, I didn't really make any extensive plans. I didn't draw up a pattern or anything, and I definitely do not recommend doing that. It didn't make it any easier on me, but I can say that it did turn out alright. So without further ado, here's that linen tablecloth that I started out with, which I am using the rest of for this dress. Here's the general idea that I had for this dress. I just wanted to do like a simple sundress. I definitely needed to line this dress. So I went to my local art supply thrift store and got this random piece of fabric. And if you're out there, Larry, happy 50th! I started by measuring exactly how I want the front to drape on my body and pinning that. Then I laid that on top of my lining fabric. I unpinned and unfolded my fabric, then marked my folds with pins, if that makes sense, but you can see what I'm doing right here. I then cut off extra fabric from the top, completely unfolded it all, and then marked again where my folds would need to be with pins, making sure these pins got pinned to the lining fabric as well. Now I'm starting to cut my lining fabric to match my front piece. Here I'm measuring from my pins on the crease I first made to the length that I need to extend to the side seam. After that, I'm cutting down at that length on both sides, leaving a big rectangle shape of linen and lining together. Then I double folded the top down and pinned, making a hem, as well as what you might call the armpit area, or the part extending down from the top hem. Now I'm going to sew this stuff down. I made a simple straight stitch on everything I just pinned. So after that, I pinned what I had so far to my dress form, roughly pinning the back two pieces to the front. The reason why this dress was a bit of a challenge for me was because of the pattern. I needed to line up the pattern perfectly on the side seams and on the back seam, while also perfectly fitting it to my size. So that's what I'm doing here. First pinning the back pieces to be lined up, then taking in the sides to fit me. On the dress form, I pinned the side seams from the inside, making it easy to sew later. And made sure the back would match up nicely. Then I took it off, turned it inside out, triple checked my measurements, and sewed along these lines. But before I sewed them, I cut out lining fabric to match each side. And before I sewed, I did a double fold hem on the top of those pieces right here and right here, extending from the armpit to the back of the dress. Then I sewed the side seams right sides together. I then did a double fold hem to the bottom of each of the 2 pieces of lining fabric only. Like I said before, this pattern was challenging to work with, and I messed up once and had to redo my side seam. Now moving on to the back seam. I first tried the dress on and safety pinned the top of the back to exactly my size. Then I could take the dress off easily and then gauge the rest of the seam from there, which yes, I pinned then sewed. I decided I wanted simple white straps for this dress, so I went to my local thrift store again and got this piece of, maybe it's interfacing, I'm not really sure, but it worked perfectly for what I wanted. So I cut it to the perfect width in order to fold it in twice so that the rough edges would be enclosed on the inside, and so I could sew a straight stitch down the strap and everything would be enclosed. And that turned out to look like this, which I then sewed on the inside of the front and the back of my dress. And here's how it turned out. I decided to pair this look with some strappy heels, Dutch braids, simple gold jewelry, and a simple makeup look. What do you think? I know it was a pretty complicated mess, but unfortunately this is just kind of how I've taught myself to sew over the years, and I kind of do this from time to time where I just have an idea and just jump right in and don't make any plans. But despite the chaos, I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, consider giving this video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to my channel. I highly recommend. I have some ideas planned that I'm super excited about that I hope you'll stick around for. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!